Hello everyone. We're coming back to Canada for a few videos before people begin to think that I've switched over to a Japan-only site, but rest assured, I will be creating some more Japanese videos soon. For this video, we're on our way to a backcountry camping site at Elk Island National Park in early September, and we've been wanting to visit this site for a while. After getting our gear ready, we began our hike at the trailhead located at Elk Lake picnic area, where you can also leave your vehicle. We will be walking 6 kilometers on the Shirley Lake trail, then camping at Oster Lake for one night. The next day, we will be hiking another 6 kilometers through a beautiful forested area in the morning light, which will take us back to our car and the trailhead. The campsite is located on the west shore of Oster Lake, and the park's description of the area states that it is a place to catch a glimpse of plains bison and coyotes. The lake is also a waterfowl sanctuary holding many species of birds found within the park. Not long after you start, you will come to a fork in the trail, and we chose the left path, which was going to prove an interesting choice, especially when seeing fresh bison tracks. So cautiously we continued along. Shirley Lake Trail is known for its aspen forest and meadows, and along with Oster Lake is one of the most picturesque areas of the park. As we were to find out, every bit of this was going to be true, even though I initially felt it was not going to live up to the standards of a true backcountry site. It would prove to be a wild camping experience, exceeding my expectations. At this time of year, there are many types of flowers and insects, including this Milbert's tortoiseshell butterfly. However, as beautiful as this area was, we had to continue along the trail and on to the campsite. But shortly after, we were surprised to see this male bison blocking our way. He was more interested in rubbing up against the trees and grazing with no desire to move. So we decided it was best to go back the way we came.
Not this guy, he's too shy. He's not shy enough.
Yeah, most of them will just kind of race off as soon as you get wind of you.
Yeah, I would say about there, yeah. Alright. Maybe there, yeah. Alright, off to the right this time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do not see any more. Second verse, same as the first. However, the alternate path was turning out to be just as pleasant as the other. But as we proceeded along this path, we found another plentiful animal, and putting on bug spray provided the needed component to help the local mosquitoes understand the concept of stay off. Like riding mountain. We're absolutely being dined on by the mozzies here. So we got ourselves a fire pit and a fire permit, and we are going to take advantage of that, try and keep them down tonight a little bit so we can at least sit around the campfire. But they are not relenting. It's a beautiful day, 20 degrees and no wind, so that's probably why they're out so bad. To our delight, we found out later that the campsite had little to no mosquitoes. But at this time, they were leaving us alone long enough so we could film comfortably. We had noticed that there had been recent rains in the area, and the trail had muddy sections to navigate our way through. As we walk through, you will notice some trees have had their bark worn off by bison rubbing against them. And by chance, we spotted a bison lying down in the forest. He was bedding down for the night and showed no interest in us, so this time we continued down the trail as planned. So ran into 2 bison so far on the trail here. When the information desk was saying we wouldn't see anything. One bison there wouldn't get off the trail, made a few noises at him, and he was busy grazing and had no interest getting off the trail, so we thought it would be best to backtrack and go actually a route that I thought was a lot prettier than the one we were going to take. So that worked out. So we got around him. And then the last guy you seen there, we just happened to spot him in the bush. He was just resting for the night. So he was pretty quiet, not doing much. They're both really quiet, not really doing much. So, but no, it's good. We've seen a couple bison on this trail, so that was actually a first. Never run into them along these deep woods trails before, so pretty happy for that. Not sure what this is. It may be
Maybe Shirley Lake.
Shirley Lake? I was wondering if we're at John Paul Lake yet. One of the true, anyway. One of them. So it's the first of...
Not John Paul.
Paul Lake? Okay. So yeah, Shirley Lake, Paul Lake, and then finally Oster Lake is where we're camping. We are right here where the screw is. So that's where we started. There's more than halfway. So we just got that length to go. Actually, correction, this is Paul Lake. But yeah, halfway or more. Later on, we spotted this birch tree covered in horsehoof fungus. And also this beautiful orange mushroom. After an enjoyable hike, we reached Oster Lake and now could see our campsite straight across the bay. When first coming here to hike 2 years ago, this part of the path was also covered in grasshoppers. Grasshoppers. We had made it, and the first thing we did was explore the area, which started with the bear boxes. We gave them a pretty good inspection to make sure our food would be safe before taking in the beautiful scenery around us. If you've been to many national parks in Canada, you may have come across these red chairs. They are usually placed in lesser known, but no less stunning locations. These scenes, I believe, show red-necked and eared grebes that are feeding their young. If you listen closely, you can hear the little peeps communicating with their parents. This may be a good time to mention that you will need to bring your own water, as there is blue-green algae in the lake, which is toxic to humans, so don't try to filter your own water here.
Yeah, maybe we should get the tent up.
Yeah.
The peaceful scenes had us staying a little bit longer, putting up the tent a little later.
Where'd she go?
She's up here.
She went underneath, eh?
Yeah.
After settling in, we discovered we were not alone. The coyotes were close to the campsite and across the bay, but neither of us could spot them. They no doubt did not want to be found, being wary of humans, and not surprisingly. After they stopped for a bit, we decided it was time to light a fire and start preparing our meal. When last hiking through this area 2 years ago, we found evidence that bison had spent the night. We were excited at the prospect of sleeping with a bison, but they were nowhere to be found on this night. After the fire established itself, we start cooking some hamburger patties and peppers, which was a nice change from the usual freeze-dried meals of our other backcountry trips. It was really extraordinary spending the night out here, surrounded by all this nature.
Yeah, that's what I see.
We found this grasshopper that seemed to be climbing up higher to see if even he could get a better look. The pups had finally quietened down. We watched the fire go out slowly and enjoyed the evening before going to our tent. Waking up the next morning, we witnessed a beautiful sunrise. And the pups? Well, they were waking up too. If you listen closely, you can hear that they're communicating with other packs of coyotes from all over the park. After the coyotes had quietened down, we decided it was time to set up and cook our breakfast, with eggs on the menu. After we ate, it was time to pack up and head back to the trailhead. And it was with some reluctance, as we had a great time here. It proved to be a wild camping experience exceeding my expectations, and we certainly plan to come back one day. On the way out, we spotted some park staff, no doubt checking the campsite and inspecting the conditions of the trails. Confirming our route, we continued on. We had a clear morning, and the sunshine on the dewy vegetation made the walk back very enjoyable. And when coming to the area where we heard the coyotes, none could be found, although we wondered if they were watching us from a safe distance. Feeling a little bit disappointed, we continued on this beautiful forested path. Donna is checking out a beaver path we found in the bushes, but there was no other sign of them. We also found a boardwalk over a marshy section, which led us through to an amazing wooded area. This is a mushroom that has been placed by a squirrel in a tree to dry, which he will later eat or store away for the coming winter. After that, we spotted many different types of mushrooms on the forest floor, including some varieties of puffballs. We had made our way back to the trailhead, finding a sign that had been recently placed by park staff. I understand the reasoning for the signage, but I wouldn't say aggressive, maybe stubborn for that one bison. Sadly, we came to the end of our backcountry experience at Oster Lake. However, we left with great memories. Thanks for watching and your continued support.